be sure that I'm actually transmitilating over here because, like I said, it was being weird, 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 weird. I don't know what it was doing, but it was not doing right. I'm hoping I'm landscape. It was acting like it didn't want to pivot. Okay, okay, okay. All right, all right, all right, all right. It looks like we are transmitilating, and hopefully we are out in the interwebs. Okay. So I pulled out a new stamp set for me. I've had it a minute, but it's taken me a while to have it come up. Hey, Amy, appreciate you. I don't know what it was doing. It was acting like it didn't want to flip before I started the video, so maybe that's a new feature. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. All right, so here's my card. And I've got a couple of elements on it. First off, we have the Nested Friends bundle, which is very sweet. It's in the new catalog, and it's got a few stamped images and some cute sentiments, as well as the die set, which cuts out leaves and a cool bird's nest, and it's very cool all the way around. And then from the annual catalog, I have one of the a la carte stamps or dies called Fabulous Frames. A la carte means it's not associated necessarily with a stamp set or bundle, so it's just something that is a useful tool to have in your kit bag. So this is Fabulous Frames. And then this paper right here is Day on the Farm DSP, which is one of the free goodies from Celebration. Hey everybody, I appreciate y'all coming. And thank you, Donna. I'm glad you were able to make it live. Alrighty. So let's go ahead and get started. I've got most of the die cutting done, but you know, not all of it. So we'll have to do a little bit. I'm going to start with a balmy blue card base and then a piece of the Day at the Farm DSP. You can see what it has on the other side. This would look really weird. So we're going to go this way. And just so you know, this looks pretty random, but if you look at it, it has a distinct up and down. So if those are the things that matter to you, ups and downs and things like that, then be sure you adhere it correctly. This is a 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 piece of DSP. Everything will be on my blog tomorrow, so you don't need to worry about that. So this is the same exact size as the card front, and I'm going to do my darndest to get it all lined up. And if I have to, I'll do a little trimmeling. But definitely when you're doing card fronts like this, you definitely want, all right, I'm gonna have to do some trimmeling. You definitely want to use liquid glue because that really does give you the very best opportunity to get it right and to have the room that you need to squiggle it around. Okay, so we're gonna put the fold right at 5 1/2. And we'll give that a quick trim, like so. But it would have helped if I had gone all the way. It turns out that you have to go all the way to the end. Isn't that so weird? Oh, I see what my problem is. Hang on. That's why it wouldn't go to the end. I'm like, what in the world? There we go. There we go. Okay. And then we'll give this side a little trim too. All right. You're live. I'm not sure if I've ever made you live. Oh, good. Hey, Cheryl, I'm so glad you got a notification. It is always boggling to me how sometimes we get notifications and sometimes we don't. I'm not really sure how the algorithm decides. All right, we'll just clean that up right there. Okay. Okay, Tammy. We'll put that away. We're going to need him again in just a second. Well, that didn't come out good at all, did it? There we go. And I'll get my bone folder and settle that back down. All right, there we go. All right. Hey, Danette. Hi, C-Pen. How are you? Hopefully I said that correctly. If I didn't, I'll apologize in advance for butchering your name. All right, there we go. Now, the next panel is a piece of crumb cake cardstock that I embossed in the Hive 3D embossing folder, okay? And it's bigger than I need. I want to put it on at an angle, all right? And I want it to be right about there, so let me show you how we're going to do that. I'm going to set it in place, and then I'm going to flip this over like so. And then I'm going to take a pencil and just mark a line there and there, like so, just enough that I can see it. All right, can you see the lines there? Then we'll pull that trimmer back out. And all you have to do there is just line the pencil line into the cutting groove that you created and cut it off like so. All right, just like that. I was just looking at a YouTube video of houses in Italy. So if I accidentally come up with an Italian accent, I'm sorry. All right. Although, interestingly, the realtor who was doing the video was obviously like from Ireland, which I probably could have just sat there and listened to him all day. I don't even know if I cared about the houses, but I was liking listening to him. All righty. That is one of the things I'm looking forward to the most when we go to Ireland in May, is just listening to them talk. Because they have such beautiful accents. I love them. Of course, that means I probably actually won't be able to understand a word any of them are saying, but that's okay. I'll just be happy. Happy and dumb. All right, so we're just lining this up, top and bottom. For top and side, I guess. Make sure that I've got it down below the top of the card base there. Okay, now, the next element, we've got a few elements actually. One of them, the next one, is the frame from the Fabulous Frames, and this is just die cut out of a piece of white. And you know, when you die cut this, this is what you get, is a frame and a centerpiece. So if you're ever needing to do it, this isn't it, but if you're ever needing to do it, you could set it right back in. You could stamp something on it and then set it in and pop that frame up. So Fabulous Frames is a pretty handy die set to have. So we're going to go ahead and adhere this with some liquid glue. We are not going to go kiss the Blarney Stone. Everything I have seen said it's kind of anticlimactic. Also, being hung over on my head doesn't sound all that great. But we are going to try to fly hawks, which I think will be very cool. Hopefully I can make that happen. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and put this right about there, like so. Okay, all right. Now, the next thing we have is a nest. And what I did is I stamped this bird's nest in soft suede ink on a piece of crumb cake, and I cut it out with the matching die from Nested Friends. Okay, just like that. I didn't think you needed to see that. It looked pretty straightforward to me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the lid on my glue, and I'm going to pull out a few blends, and we're going to color this up. Now, obviously, we're going to be covering this with some die cuts, so this center part isn't all that critical, but I'm going to go ahead and color it in with my light crumb cake Stampin' Blend. Yeah, you saw that. I had to check and be sure that's what it was. And I am going to make sure that I get these little twig guys all colored in. So I'm going to be careful there on the edges where they kind of poke out. I mean, this little bird went to all this trouble to make the nest, so we should be sure that it's colored nicely. But here in the middle, I'm just going to get it now. Just going to get it. And then we're going to color the leaves. And then we're going to adhere this with its top nest. This is a very nice nest. This is one of those McMansion nests. This bird is doing well, quite prosperous, and has made the effort to get a good nest going for the winter, or I guess the spring is really when they do all their egg laying stuff. We always have I think it's a swallow or it's a barn wren. Is that a thing? I don't know. Maybe one of the Carolina wrens always makes a nest every year in our little carport right outside the door. And we always watch for her. It's fun to watch because all of a sudden there'd be nothing. You can't see anything except her sitting in there. And then like the next morning you go and there's 3 or 4 little heads peeking up, looking at you. And you're like, okay. So then I have to do then I put like a horse blanket or something under it when they start to get big in case she dumps them out. I don't figure hitting the concrete was part of what she knew. Okay, just saying that. Hey, Nyoka, appreciate you coming. All right, now I'm going to take my light Mossy Meadow and color the leaves. Now, you might be tempted to think that when you're coloring little things like this with your Stampin' Blend, that you would want to use the bullet tip. I don't like it. I like to barely touch it with the feather tip or the, the brush tip end. And you do want to be a little careful, which is why this is going to take a hot second for me to do. Otherwise, and I'm sorry if you can hear my husband in the background. He's talking to the dog. And of course, very loudly. Has to be very loudly. All right. Hey, Wayne. I'm on a video, dude. And he's halfway deaf. He's halfway deaf in one ear and partly deaf in the other, Or he just has Y chromosomiumness. Y chromosomium disease. There we go. I think that's a thing. All right, so we're just going to color all of these little guys in Mossy Meadow. Okay, almost there. I'm getting it. I promise I'm getting it. I'm getting it. I promise. I'm getting it. I like how this little bird has put some greenery around her nest. That's very pretty. She must have been watching like the Home Improvement Channel or something. She's got Joanna Gaines in her blood. Or Jenny Mars, my current favorite. Okay, so there we go. That should be all the leaves. I don't see any more leaves. So then I'm going to take my dark balmy blue and color these little berry dudes right here like that. Berry dudes. Oh, berry dudes. Okay. Now I'm going to up. Almost forgot and did not make us a branch. A bird nest needs a branch. Hello, Mary. Hello. Oh, good, Judy. I'm glad you couldn't hear him. Must have been my super sensitive hearing. Or, for once, my, where's all my cardstock? I knew I would get my cardstock lost. I've got a piece of cardstock here. Here we go. This one isn't big enough. I thought this one was big enough, and so I put it there, but it's not big enough. So we're just going to stamp our branch and give it a quick color. Again with the crumb cake blend, the light one. And it's really nice because this image has got all the little shading marks already on it. So it's really just a matter of adding a little color to the rest of it and then letting the shading marks do the work for you. It's a very, very cute set. I really do like this set. All right. Got to hold my mouth just right so I don't color outside the lines. There's a time and a place for coloring outside the lines, and this isn't it. And then I'm going to use that light Mossy Meadow again for the leaves. And yes, I am aware that much of this will be covered, but it's the thought, right? And this way, if I've colored everything, I don't have to add that into my positioning thought process. Alrighty, here we go. One more. All right, and then I'm gonna snip this off. And you know what? Since I'm gonna have my little cutter pulled out, let's go ahead and stamp our bird. How about we do that? This is what this is for, is the bird. It's the bird. Bird is the word. And I am going to, again, stamp in soft suede. Like that. Isn't that a cute bird image? I really, really like that. Hey, honeybee, appreciate you coming. And I'm going to set this stuff kind of out the way so that we don't make a big old mess. We'll pull out Mr. Baby Boho. Guys, remember, this is still available. If you're not, if you're not a demonstrator and you want to be, this is a great time. All right, I'm going to put the amazingly cute, have I got all the, yeah, I do. Okay. So we're going to put this little guy on. Just like that, hold still. And I'm going to use a sticky note to hold him in place. Like that. Hey, Denise, appreciate you coming. And then we'll roll that through. Sorry for the shaking. There is no earthquake happening in Georgia right now. Just me and my table shaking your world. All right. There's one branch. It's the good branch of the family, I can tell. And then we're going to do the same with the bird and his little die. Have you heard, maybe you've heard that bird is the word? Oh, Mary, 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 you are just so funny. Just ask yourself. Yeah, all right, we're going to put him on there like so. And put our sticky note back down. And then here we go. Baby boho to the rescue. All righty. Set him aside. And then one time I left that like that, hooked in with the sticky note, and then I might or might not have thrown it away. So be careful if you do that. I'm just saying. They are all affected by that additional chromosome. That is a true statement, Judy. All right, let me use my dark balmy blue, and I'm going to color around the edges here where the shading is. He's going to be a blue bird of happiness. That's what he's going to be. A blue-brown bird. So this is probably like the female, because she's going to be in the nest with the eggs. So that means she's not going to be the real colorful one of the group, right? Talk about that. Even bird life is a man's world. It's a man's world. Yeah, I'm just singing that for no reason. And then I'm going to take my light So Saffron and color the middle areas of the bird. I'm just making this up as I go. I don't know what birds look like. Come on, man. And then I'm going to take the light balmy blue and go right back over the top of that. Like that. Okay. And that's going to be our bird. And just because I wanted to, I took my color lifter and kind of went down the center here. Just like that. Okay. Now, I do believe we are ready to put this little card together. Together, together. So we're going to start with the branch, which is what got us off into die cutting land in the first place. And I'm going to put it right about here with that liquid glue. And then I'm going to use more liquid glue on the stamped and die cut branch, like so. Now, what you're going to get, these two dies in this set are so cool. This is like the nest builder, okay? So this one is the base of the nest, and I cut it in soft suede. And then you have like the fill-in, you know, so she builds her nest, and then she adds the, you know, the other little pieces, and that is this detailed cut, and I did it with crumb cake. So I liked just kind of keeping things quiet in the world of color, but I also liked the idea of it having a little contrast. So we'll just use some liquid glue here and put that right over the top. So as I said, most of the stamped nest goes away, but it's there and you can tell. Now, if you're one of those people who likes to use the adhesive sheets and can remember to do it, this die might be a good one for it. For me, it's just as easy and quick to put on some liquid glue. We'll put that over the top like so. And then I took a minute and cut out some eggs. There's a cute little die cut in there. It has it can cut 3 eggs at a time. So I did it twice, so I'd have 5 eggs. And she's a prolific little kid. And I am going to stamp. Nope. I'm going to glue. You know how I know it's glue? Is because I'm holding glue in my hand, right? Okay. I'm going to glue these little egg peoples. They're not people yet, but they will be. Well, no, they won't be. They'll be birds. Do these with, and I'm going to do 5 because even birds know that you decorate in odd numbers. Okay, even birds know that. Even the birds know. I'm just using a little liquid glue and putting those on there like that. And I even had one left over because, you know, 6. 6 minus 1 is 5, even with fuzzy math. Okay. Now, I stamped on a little strip of basic white. I stamped the sentiment in balmy blue. And then what I'm going to do, oh, yay, Tara, I'm glad you're going to get it. I'm going to take my soft suede marker, and I'm going to edge the sentiment die cut. So you just hold the brush end perpendicular to the edge of your strip and just brush along like that. So when I write in my blog, I edged the sentiment with my Stampin' Write marker. You now know what it means because now you've seen me doing it. Now you've seen me doing it. For me, that just kind of defines the sentiment and gives me like a faux mat, if you will. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay this on here so I can see how everything is going to line up before I adhere it. And then this little bird dude, he's going to go right there with Stampin' Dimensionals. Okay. Now, it's supposed to be a clean and simple design, so everybody just squint your eyes and pretend it is. But you can tell it is for me because there's no linen thread on here. No. And there are a couple of dots, except I don't know where they went. There are a couple of dots that I'll find here in just a second. But you have to have dots. I mean, come on. Every card needs something. Hello. Now, let me find some dimensionals. Here we go. We're going to pop him on with a couple of dimensionals. Y'all, just so you know, I have some openings in my host club starting in February, and it is a really good way to gather some goodies up. You'll get to be a host twice in 6 months, which means you get host benefits while I do the host work for you. So that's kind of cool. And every time you place a host club order, you get double peppermints. So you will gather up peppermints and free goodies very, very quickly. I promise. All right, let me see if I can't find those matte dots. They went here somewhere. They're here somewhere. Somewhere. Now, really, how many places can you go and get righto. Right then. Well, let's see. You know, that's really odd because I did actually clean up my desk this morning and I don't remember seeing them. I wonder where they went. Okay, well, imagine, if you will, a world in which Mary can find her classic matte dots. Oh, they're there. Gosh, I stuck them aside just so that I would be able to find them. It's a good thing I did, right? So these are the enamel dot essentials, and you get Night of Navy in 3 colors, Crumb Cake in 3 colors, and white in 3 colors. They're very, very cute. In fact, they're so good, they're almost essential. I think they're an essential item for your stamp room. Ha, ha, ha. Did you see what I did there? I'm going to put one there, medium one there, and then I think I'll put a medium one here. And a little one there. Okay, and that is our card front. See, I call that clean and simple. Maybe everybody else won't, but I did. Okay, so on the inside, what we're going to do is I'm going to stamp a sentiment, and then I'm going to stamp and color the branch just like that on a piece of basic white. So let us do that. Thanks, Judy. Appreciate you. I'll find my sentiment. Here we go. And I've only used this a time or two, so I'm just going to do one quick check over here. I'm going to line that sentiment up with my grid paper. I'm pretty happy with that. Just to be sure that if I think I'm stamping straight, I really am. And then I'm going to wipe off my hand before I put a big old dot of blue on my card stock, because I don't want to do that. All right, let's see if I can get that on there straight. Yes, yes, and yes, I did. I did. Yes, I did. Alrighty, and now we will stamp the branch. Le branch. All right, now what we're gonna do is we're gonna let it go kind of off the edge over there and get it as close to the words as we can without going over. Hold your breath. Perfect, perfect. I'll put that aside, and I'm gonna do that branch on my envelope as well, on the front of the envelope. We're gonna put him right about there, just like that. And that was in soft suede. Thanks, Denise, I appreciate that. And then we're gonna do some quick coloring. Remember, when you are coloring an envelope, don't press real hard when you're using the blends, because you will let it bleed through to the back. And that is always disappointing when you spend the time to color something and then you look and it's all bled through the back and it's like, oh, that's ugly. Don't like that a bit. So be careful. Take your time. Light hand. Remember, this ink will kind of bleed a little bit, so you don't even have to work. You don't even have to barely touch the cardstock, or the envelope in this case, with the tip. And here we go. Isn't this so pretty? I love this stamp set. I don't know why it took me so long to use it. I think because I was afraid of coloring the bird. I just was like, I don't really know how to color a bird. And so, you know, unlike most normal people like y'all who would Google birds and find a color combo, I was like, I'm just going to pretend I know what I'm doing. So it took me a minute to get up the nerve to try to do it, but you should not be afraid like I was. All right. And then how do I come up with the ideas? Okay, so Tara, that's a very good question. This layout right here is from, it's either Tuesday morning sketches, Tuesday AM sketches, or Sketch Saturday. I really like to use challenge blogs because this layout was a good place for me to start. And at that point, I just think, okay, well, in this case, I thought, well, you know, I want to use that nested birds because I haven't yet. And I happened to have a panel in my scrap paper of the Hive crumb cake panel. It was already embossed, and it was just sitting in my crumb cake scrap bin, if you will. And I thought, well, that could be a cool panel. And so that started to drive it. I thought balmy blue is a pretty color with crumb cake and birds. And so I looked around and found this in the day on the farm. So it's very iterative. And what my brain sees when I first start is not always how it ends up. So, you know, it's just a matter of kind of starting with a sketch, starting with a color challenge. I see a lot of people's ideas on Pinterest and on their blogs. And then, of course, samples in the catalog are a good place to start. Just as a thought, just so you know, if you will look on the page for the nested birds, which is page 25, you see that frame? I happen to have this frame sitting in my little bin. I have a little bowl where I keep die cuts that I've cut and don't use. And I thought, well, geez, I can adapt that idea to this layout. And so that's how it worked. And that was just not a very helpful answer, was it? I'm pretty sure that wasn't a very helpful answer. So I hope that helped. All right, so back to the light mossy meadow. And we're going to get the little leaves done right here. Remember, just barely touch the card. You can really easily add more color. It's a little less easy to take it back. Take it back, Jack. Man, I got the random stuff going on this morning. What in the world? It's not even morning. There we go. And then we'll do the leaves on our envelope. Oop. Well, that one, it'll be okay. Oh my goodness. Quit, Mary. All right. Oop. Right there. Okay. And then we'll go ahead and adhere this to the inside of our card. I've got a soft suede mat, and we're going to adhere that. And I'm using liquid glue. Obviously, you could use, for this is pretty straightforward to use Stampin' Seal. I just don't see it right now, and my glue was sitting right in front of me. So I thought to myself, just use the glue. Just use the glue. Oh, do you see what I did? That's so funny. You know, that's not actually funny at all. Do you see what I did there? I really, that's very annoying. Okay, so now I'm going to show you a little something. How to recover from that error. Now, this is what I am going to do right here. I'm going to cut this off right at, actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this be like a card front. This is now going to be a card front, okay? It's going to be an unmatted card front. So what I'm going to do is I am going to make it be 5 1/4 by 4. And so I need to take off 1/4 of an inch. So I'm going to take off of the top. Y'all don't have to do this. You do not have to do this if you don't bork and put everything on upside down. Okay? Just saying. Don't be like me. Don't put everything on upside down. All right. One more try with that. Okay. That was a little thick there. And then, let's see. That's going to be less fun to do. Let me see how that looks. This is what we call faking it. Now we're faking it. There's not going to be fixing this, I don't think, guys. I think I've mortally wounded this card. Because now at this point I would want to cut this down because it's not a good proportion. So I'll come up with something to do. Oh, goodness. That's very disappointing. Look how it should have looked. Ah, wouldn't that have been so much nicer? Because if I hadn't borked it, I'd have 2 of these lovely thank you cards right now. But as it is, I have 1 of these lovely cards. Oh, that's sad. That makes me sad. Okay, and then let's see. We'll go ahead and put some more of the Day on the Farm DSP on our envelope flap. Like so. I'm gonna fix it somehow, but I don't want you to see or hear perhaps some of the superlatives I may use while I'm trying to fix it. You know how I always tell you put your card front on last after you're sure you have everything settled? That is why. But when you build on the card front, it's kind of hard to do that. Okay, remember this is one way up and one way down. So I'm going to put it on right side up. Like so. And no, I am not the only one. You are not the only one. When you make a card, my theory is there are them who have and them who will. Which means them who have put their card front on upside down and them who will put their card front on upside down. It is truly inevitable at some point. All right, guys, there you go. That's what we made. The good news is this one looks almost exactly like it. And I do hope you will put Nested Friends on. All right. So also, if you want to be in my online host club, I've got openings. They start in February. There's still a month left of celebration, so you could get in on that. Give me a holler if you'd like, and have a great rest of your week, and I will see you on Saturday evening for another video. Thanks so much, everybody. Ta!